Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. Okay, I have a hard one, and no matter which way I'm going to go with this, I'm going to be crucified either way. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and just go straight forward in what makes sense to me. The Bill Cosby trial is over, a month long. A woman by the name of Judy Huth, she sued Bill Cosby for abuse back in 1974 at the Playboy mansion when she was 16 years old. And the article stated that he had and I'm saying alleged proclivity for young women of the lower than 18 years old. That right there is so much to impact right there. But I want to hone in on one thing before I talk about anything else. What was a 16-year-old doing at the Playboy mansion? That's what I would like to know. Where were the parents? Now, I spoke to my mother about that time era, and my mother's 80, so at that time era she was in her 30s, and she said that this happened on the West Coast. So my mother was always on the East Coast. So there is a difference between East Coast and West Coast. At that time, there was a difference, cultural differences between being black people and white people, Asian and everybody else in between. So there was a lot of differences. So my mother was telling me that in her day, her parents were very, very strict. There were just some things there were a lot of things you could not do, and there were reasons for things you could not do. So I'm saying that to say this. I want to know, where was Judy's parents back in 1974 letting a 16-year-old to be in the Playboy mansion? And it seems like no one is even touching that stick right there. Because if you touch that stick, there is going to be an explosion of, I'll give you an example. In the 1990s, Rob Lowe, his career was taken off. The Breakfast Club, he was a part of the Brat Pack, Molly Ringwald, Pretty in Pink, John Cryer, Ducky, this Emilio Estevez, I already said Molly Ringwald. He goes to a club, meets up with a girl, and just has relations with her. She gets pregnant, comes back, she's 15 years old. Again, where were the parents? Now, I got a theory on this. And R. Kelly is prime example. No one is looking at the parents. You had a father who drove his daughter to R. Kelly. When he found out she was 16, 17, he put her in a cab and sent her back home. Her mother got her back in a car, drove her out there. Now, how come his parents aren't in jail or not responsible for even trafficking their own children? This is a real thing that happens in the United States. This is not out there in some other country across the pond elsewhere. This is right here, and this is something that we have to deal with. Again, I go back to, where were her parents? And why would her parents allow her daughter to go from the Playboy mansion to someplace else, allegedly with Bill Cosby? And why a civil lawsuit? I'm just saying. We really need to look at this. And I'm not blaming the girl. Nah, I'm blaming her parents. I want to know why her parents allowed her in that. Now, keep in mind what I restated from. I have to go back. I have to make sure I have that article in this description box. But the writers said that he had I'm going to put it in my words, but still same sentiment, that he had a not proclivity, but he had a certain type that was under the age of 18. Now, that's a Playboy mansion, and if they're surmising that they had people under the age of 18 for the pleasure of men, then that's Playboy needs to be looked at, because that right there is a crime. A crime. Why is Bill Cosby being sued when Judy Huth should have been looking at, if she was an employee there, she needs to be looking at her employee or her employer for putting her in that position. She needs to be looking at her parents and why her parents allowed her to be in that position. Most of all, if she was rebellious, she needs to look at herself and why did she put herself in that position. All right. Having said all that, let's push that to the side. Bill Cosby, in my opinion, had no okay, that's his business. If he wants to cheat on his wife, fine, cheat on your wife all you want. That is between you and your wife. But when you put yourself in a position to where you're out there like I don't want to call you a hound dog, but I just did. Out there looking at every undiscovered chance to then you put yourself in that position. And if you're not looking, not only asking, but now I strongly suggest you to not only look at their IDs, but go to the family and have the family say her age is. Because right now we are in a time to where it's scam. It's scam time. There was a girl that was with this guy that I can't even remember his name because they were on Maury Povich, and he was getting into football. He started to get into football. He was in training. I can't remember for what league, but the girl wound up pregnant. The girl with her mother. And when it turned out to be his baby, the mother said, "Good, now you're going to have to start paying some bill." That's your daughter. You take care of your daughter. You're looking for some guy to push your daughter on some guy to have a baby for money? But that's the day that we are in. I'm sorry, let me go back to Bill Cosby. In that same article, he pled the fifth. I'm like, oh, Bill, oh, Bill, oh, Bill. That right there is terrible. You deserve to be sued. She got $500,000. That's a lot of money. But I still believe that by her being 64 now, to bring that up now, 50 years later, I think, okay, how am I going to say this? No matter the way I say it, no matter how I pat it, it's not going to be right at all, but it's something that needs to be said. You may not agree with me, and it is okay to agree to disagree. And that is what makes this country so great, because we're allowed to be able to discuss things freely and to be able to have our own opinions and express those opinions. I believe in the First Amendment, and I would fight for your right to say terrible things. However, I would fight for someone else's right to combat what you're saying. Okay, outside of that. Ooh, I know you heard that. It's getting ready to storm here. So, I think waiting 50 years to sue someone that happened back in 1974, to me, is outrageous. Within all those 50 years, I'm sure you had a life. It may not have been the best. I'm pretty sure you have children, marriage, maybe divorce. Who knows? But you wait to become a senior citizen to say he did this. Now, when I read the article, it didn't say anything about her going to the police. It didn't say anything about her filing criminal charges. And I really wish that people would start filing criminal charges instead of going straight to civil. Because I know civil suits have a lower threshold and you can win a civil suit. I get why they're doing it. I think it's terrible. Because a person could have a lot of money, pay you money, and still keep on doing the same thing. If you really, in my opinion, if you really want people to change, you're going to have to go after them criminally to let them know that you mean business. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not trying to ramble. But he was sued, and in my opinion, he got what he deserved. He should have gotten what he deserved 50 years ago. And even though that he's a powerful man, look, it doesn't matter how powerful a person is. Because one thing that he relies on is people to go and see his act. If I would have known that he was doing this and was like this, I would have never spent one penny. Actually, I'd never seen any of his acts, but I would never have watched his TV shows. People do not support people that do stuff like that. But they have to be found out not 50 years later, but right now. Alright. That's just how I feel. Now, again, I'm back on the parents. I'm looking at those parents. Why did they allow that 16-year-old girl go to the Playboy mansion? What did they get out of it? Even if they got anything out of it, if she was rebellious and she ran away or did what she wanted to do, I don't know. But that's just it. And look, it has nothing to do with Bill Cosby, him being Bill Cosby, him being black, I'm being black. Nah. There's people who are criminals that are black and that need to go to jail. There are people that are white that are criminals who need to go to jail. All different colors. Crime is not even about color. It is about crime. And what Bill Cosby did and was found liable for was a crime. And he needed to most definitely pay for that. Now, I know about the other trial to where whatever happened, there was something. And it was, oh my goodness. Oh, man. It was in Pennsylvania. And a woman filed charges against him. I think that was back in 2008. Look, you all have to and try to sue him 2 years ago, something that happened 12 years ago. Alrighty. I'm familiar with it. I just can't recall it at this very second. But on that note, this is a hard one for me. And it's hard because of the parents. Alright. Let me back up. On that note, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Please like, subscribe. Hey, share my videos. Help a sister out. Oh, I want to do another shout out. I'm going to do a shout out. I don't want to do a shout out on this video. I'm going to do another video and then do a shout out on that video to another country. I already did one to the Philippines. And on that note, I want to thank you for spending your precious time with me, because you could be anywhere in the world but you're here with me. And I thank you for that. Bye.